Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Florence from the A to Z of Emotional Health online library. I'm here with Karen Breuner as she launches her new book, 20 Habits of Self-Care. I'm absolutely delighted that you have been able to join me for this conversation. Karen, would you first of all like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. My name is Karen. I was born in Guatemala, where I lived 25 years of my life. Then in 2006, I decided that I needed to do something different for myself. And it's kind of part of the introduction of the book is that bit of my story. I don't go deeply into it because I don't like to self-disclose that much with if clients are going to be online and reading this. So I keep that for my therapist, really. But I needed a change. I needed to set a clear boundary, and a clear way to do it was to move to the UK. So I moved here with 2 suitcases, nothing much really, just did au pairing for a year. And then I started to learn how life in the UK was, and then I topped up my training. I already had a BA in counseling from Guatemala, so I topped my training up and did a postgraduate diploma in counseling here and started my own practice in 2013. And then last year I started blogging, and my first series that I did in blogging was on self-care. And that's kind of how the book came along.
Oh, it's very interesting because having had the privilege to read your book or read parts of it before you actually launched it, I think it's fascinating because what I'm hearing is you walk the talk. You understand that there is sometimes a need. Your first chapter is actually all about setting boundaries, and it's a theme that flows through the book. And what I'm hearing is this is really based on your own experience and based without self-disclosing. It is actually based on your real hands-on experience of the need to have to develop our ability to embrace self-care and to do so in a really healthy way. And one of the things I loved about your book was that it's not just about sort of let's have a nice hot bath and light some candles. It's really pragmatic, practical, and it's giving very sound advice on how we manage relationships, how we manage boundaries. So, I mean, would you like to, again, say a little bit more? Because there's a definitive structure in the book.
I think I noticed myself talking about the things that I write in the book with my counseling clients. So it is a theme through my life, and it is a theme through the way I work. So I think if you come to therapy with me, you will get a lot of boundary work and learning to meet your needs, whether you come with depression, anxiety, grief, a problem with a relationship at work, problems with your romantic partner, anything. You will need to set boundaries to make that relationship better. So I think the theme is everywhere. And I think, as you said, it's not just about treating ourselves to a hot bath or an ice cream or whatever our favorite thing is. It's about something deeper. It's about reaching down inside and finding our strengths to live in this world that demands so much of us sometimes.
And you are right. I mean, I think the world does increasingly demand of us. And it demands availability. I think with the internet, there are some amazing things. I mean, like our conversation, for example, this would not be happening without technology. At the same time, there are demands that come with this world of online availability that I think increase pressure on people, and particularly on young people.
Definitely.
And that kind of leads me to another question, which is, what kind of age group do you think your book is really aimed at?
I think it could work with everyone, because I've used it with younger clients as well, with young adults. Hopefully, it might be interesting to see what the young people say, actually. I hadn't really thought about the strict age groups or if it does fit with a strict age group or not. But it would be interesting to see what somebody growing up does, because I could have used this when I was growing up. I could have used learning this before 2006 when I decided to move here and start practicing self-care.
It's quite interesting. One of the reasons I asked the question was because I wondered whether you'd written it with a target group, because my experience of the book was exactly that. I actually thought, gosh, I really think this is a book that applies to pretty much anyone and everyone who needs to in a really practical way, work out how they are beginning to put into action some real, as you've called it, habits of self-care. But it is really about the practical application of
your internal world,
your internal world, and how do you express that and engage with that in your external world.
Yeah,
I did think across the board that would work for younger people, as
yeah,
as somebody of my age, your age, anybody's age. So as I said, I was interested in whether you had a target group, but actually I'm really hearing your own recognition that you could have done with it years ago.
I could have read my own book, you know, when I was growing up and gone, yeah, it's okay to say no to that. Yeah, it's okay to set your boundaries. Yes, it's okay to plan and to stick to your boundaries and to spend time on your own. That was a big one. Oh, you should have more friends. No, why should I? I'm quite happy, you know. And I'm sure there's other people, shy people out there, maybe that, or introverts that don't want to spend that much time with other people. And that chapter on spending time on your own might benefit them greatly and go, actually, she's giving me permission to be on my own, and it's okay to be on my own.
In that respect, interestingly enough, I guess as your book delves a little bit more deeply, or indeed invites us, I guess, to delve a little more deeply into who we really are, I think you hone in on the fact that self-care is a really unique and individual journey.
Yeah.
What is right for one person is not necessarily going to be right for another.
Yeah, and this is why I've left the spaces on the sheets. I don't know if you saw them. So every chapter has one of
these. Would you like to show this? Because obviously, although I've had the privilege of looking, not everybody has. So talk us through this so that people who are watching this can get a feel of what this is demonstrating.
This chapter is about sleep. So the self-care moment for today would be sleep helps us process information, emotions, and enhances our mental health. Mm-hmm. And then I put the quote that's in the chapter as well on there, because you won't be carrying the book around. You can carry the sheet, or maybe you will, who knows. And then I put the reflections there. Think about how sleep will affect you. Feel maybe how it feels to have a good night's sleep and wake up well rested the next day, and how that's going to impact on how you're functioning through the day. And act. How are you going to make sleep a more important part of your life? How are you going to develop that routine of going to bed at a certain time, turning off all your gadgets and interactions and everything before you go to bed, so you're ready for sleep, and it'll be easier for you to achieve that. And then I leave a blank space there so people can make it their own.
Yeah.
But the book is all about me giving suggestions, but then the person can think about other ones. The reader can think about other ones and add them and add what makes sense to them. Because what makes sense to me is not necessarily what might make sense to everyone.
Yeah, I guess maybe we should, voice for anyone listening to and watching this video, that structure where you take an opportunity to talk about the benefits, to highlight the benefits, to think about things, to notice how you're feeling, and also what actions you can take. That's a consistent sort of structure in each chapter, with an opportunity. There's a space for you to write in your own reflections, and as you said, to make it your own. So whilst it is full of very pragmatic suggestions as to what we really can do.
Yeah, and what you will get from doing this, because you can get individual benefits from it. Your life will improve as an individual, but also your life will improve as a person in a relationship with friends, family, romantic partners, with everyone, really.
Yeah. So I hope that people are getting a flavour of the book, because I think it's quite a unique book. There are lots of books on self-care out in the world, all of which I have to say I think make a valuable contribution. I personally think self-care is a gift to humanity, and if we all embraced it, along with the self-responsibility that comes with that, then actually the world would significantly improve. But I do think you have a very unique take. It's, as I said, this is a book that's full of very practical applications. At the same time, I think it's very permission giving in terms of that kind of internal inquiry as to doing what is right for each of us as a unique individual being on our pathway. So I thank you, I think, on behalf of that I think self-care humanity, and I think this is a really wonderful contribution.
Great. Thank you very much. And I think giving permission is key. Because sometimes we feel that we're not allowed to self-care because it's selfish. No, it's not. It's necessary. Or sometimes we're not allowed to say no because we've been saying yes all our lives. But actually, we need to. If we're going to keep looking after other people, we have to look after ourselves first.
I agree. And I think that is a premise that maybe people really do need to hear and have reinforced. That if you look after yourself, you will have far more to give others and far more available resources within yourself to look after others in a really healthy way.
Definitely. Great.
Karen, thank you so much for making the time to come and have this conversation. I, as I said, have been privileged to already have a look at Karen's book, and I can highly recommend it. The links to both Karen's website and to buy the book on Amazon are on the library resources page. So do make that click if you would like to have a look and do more. And I know there are also some additional resources. Is that right, on your website?
Yes, you can join an exclusive Facebook group for all my readers. And this week I'm doing virtual book readings on Twitter. So if anyone wants to join my Twitter page, I'll leave the links as well with you.
Brilliant.
So they can follow that. I'm doing every hour from 12 to 6, extracts of the book. So I started yesterday. So if you haven't seen them, you can go back into my profile and catch up on those. And on Thursday, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live on my author page at 1:00. So do come and join us and join in the conversation.
And I'm guessing that obviously if somebody was to come across this conversation, say in 6 months' time, they will perhaps be able to access some of those. Will some of those videos still be available to watch? Yes,
I've got them on YouTube. So I've posted from Twitter to YouTube, and I will put them on my website as well, so they can catch up on that.
So if people want to access those conversations and those readings, or indeed to look at joining the Facebook group, they can obviously connect to all the resources available via your website and obviously via buying the book.
It's all on the on my landing page for the book, so it's really easy to find. Yeah.
Great. Karen, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have the conversation with you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope people start reading the book and benefit from it as you have and as my other reviewers have as well. So such an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.